It was supposed to be a quiet evening for Detective Marcus Hayes, a seasoned investigator known for his calm demeanor and sharp instincts. Dressed casually after a long day at work, Marcus decided to grab a late-night coffee at a local diner. But what started as an ordinary night took a shocking turn when a patrol car pulled up. Officer Mitchell, a cop with a quick temper and unchecked biases, stormed in, locking eyes on Marcus. Without asking questions, he accused Marcus of fitting the description of a robbery suspect. The situation escalated quickly as Marcus tried to explain who he was. But Mitchell wasn't listening. His assumptions drowned out every word. What happened next stunned everyone in the diner and changed the way they saw justice, prejudice, and humanity. What could Marcus possibly reveal to turn this tense confrontation into a moment no one would ever forget? Stay tuned to find out. The diner fell silent as the air grew heavy with tension. Marcus, still calm despite the officer's aggressive tone, reached into his pocket slowly to show his badge. But Mitchell wasn't interested. "Hands where I can see them," he barked, his voice echoing through the room. The other patrons exchanged nervous glances, unsure of how this would unfold. Marcus tried to reason with him, keeping his voice steady. "Officer, I'm Detective Hayes with the city's homicide unit. If you check." "Save it," Mitchell cut him off, his hand hovering near his holster. "I've heard that excuse before." Meanwhile, Marcus couldn't help but notice the unease in the room. Some people were watching with fear, while others filmed on their phones, knowing this moment could go viral. But Marcus wasn't worried about appearances. He was focused on the officer's intentions and what had brought them to this dangerous misunderstanding. Marcus kept his hands raised, his voice steady but firm. "Officer, I'm not resisting. Let's de-escalate this before it goes too far." But Mitchell wasn't backing down. His gaze flickered to the onlookers, who whispered nervously among themselves. One brave woman stepped forward, her phone still recording. "Maybe you should check his badge," she suggested carefully. Mitchell shot her a glare, his pride bruised. "Stay out of this. I know how to do my job," he snapped, but doubt crept into his eyes. Marcus, noticing the hesitation, took a small step forward. "Check my badge," he said again, this time with a tone of authority that made Mitchell pause. "Or call my precinct. You'll find out exactly who I am." But Mitchell wasn't ready to admit he might be wrong. Instead, he doubled down, calling for backup on his radio. The tension in the room thickened as Marcus stayed calm, knowing this confrontation was far from over. The sound of sirens grew louder as backup arrived, red and blue lights flashing through the diner's windows. Marcus stood motionless, his calm composure a sharp contrast to the chaos unfolding around him. The small crowd inside grew more restless, some pleading with Officer Mitchell to reconsider, while others stayed glued to their phones, capturing every second. 2 more officers entered, their eyes darting between Marcus and Mitchell. "What's going on here?" one of them asked, his voice laced with confusion. Mitchell pointed at Marcus. "I've got a suspect here who's trying to talk his way out of it. Says he's a detective." The room collectively held its breath as Marcus finally spoke. "I'm not just saying it. Call my captain if you don't believe me." His voice was calm, but there was an edge of frustration now. The new officers exchanged a look, sensing something wasn't right. Before they could act, Marcus added one more chilling detail, his eyes locking with Mitchell's. "You're going to regret not listening, officer. Because this isn't just about me, it's bigger than you think." The room fell silent as Marcus's words hung in the air. Even Mitchell seemed momentarily shaken, but he quickly masked it with a scoff. "Bigger than me? What's that supposed to mean?" he demanded, his voice cracking slightly. Marcus took a deep breath, still holding his ground. "You're chasing shadows, officer. While you're wasting time here, a real suspect is slipping away. The robbery you're so eager to pin on me. I've been investigating it for weeks, and if you checked my badge like I asked, you'd know I'm the lead detective on the case." A ripple of shock spread through the diner. The onlookers whispered to each other, their faces a mix of disbelief and concern. Mitchell froze, his grip tightening on his radio. He didn't want to believe it, but there was something about Marcus's steady confidence that made him hesitate. Then, before anyone could react, a voice crackled through Mitchell's radio. "We've got eyes on the suspect. Repeat, suspect spotted fleeing the area." The tension in the room exploded as everyone realized the truth. Marcus wasn't lying, and time was running out. The radio call sent a jolt through the room. Mitchell's face turned pale as he processed the information. Before he could respond, Marcus stepped forward, his calm demeanor now edged with urgency. "Let me handle this. I know where the suspect might go next. You're wasting time here." One of the backup officers, clearly more open-minded, interjected, "Let's check his credentials. If he's telling the truth, we need him out there." With a nod, the officer quickly verified Marcus's badge number through dispatch. Moments later, the confirmation came through. Detective Marcus Hayes, Homicide Unit. The room erupted with gasps, and Mitchell's arrogance crumbled in an instant. Embarrassed and shaken, he tried to stammer out an apology, but Marcus didn't wait to hear it. "You can apologize later. Right now, there's a job to do," he said firmly, already heading for the door. As Marcus left, Mitchell stood frozen, but something about the detective's words stuck with him. The twist came when Marcus, moments before stepping outside, turned back to Mitchell. "By the way," he said, his voice steady but sharp, "this isn't the first time someone's judged me by how I look. But it's the first time it's almost cost us the chance to stop a criminal. Think about that." With that, Marcus disappeared into the night, ready to bring justice to the case, while leaving everyone in the diner with an unforgettable lesson about prejudice and accountability. As Marcus drove into the night, the air in the diner was thick with silence. Everyone was still processing what had just happened. The bravery and calmness of the detective left a mark on the crowd, but so did the blatant bias that nearly derailed the pursuit of justice. Mitchell stood by the counter, his radio still in hand, replaying Marcus's parting words in his head. He had spent years on the force, but this moment made him question everything he thought he knew. He finally muttered, "I messed up," to no one in particular, but the weight of his mistake was clear. Meanwhile, Marcus coordinated with his team to apprehend the real suspect. Within hours, they made the arrest, solving the case he had worked so hard on. For Marcus, it wasn't just about the victory. It was about proving that staying calm in the face of prejudice could pave the way for change.